this the bat you used?
Yes.
And you said you poked him with it?
Yes, I kind of pushed, like I held it with the skinny part here and then...
So the grip here.
Prodded at it, yes.
You grabbed the bat. The big part of the bat is here.
Correct.
And you thrusted it into the different areas of the suitcase?
I started with his hand, and his hand, he was still trying to get out. He was still trying to do that. So I started to push on the suitcase around it, hoping to have his hand retract and go back inside.
Every good true crime story starts with a 911 call. This case is no exception. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Comm Center. Today, we're diving back into the Sarah Boone trial, the death by suitcase trial, if you will. If you haven't seen any of the previous videos of this case, I'm going to link them in the description below. Be sure to catch up on all of the details because we're going to be recapping day 3 of the trial. If you don't know me, I'm Drew Breezy. I'm an authentic cop, and I'm half the duo with actual 911 dispatcher John. Together, we bring you our expertise through the Comm Center. So far in the trial, we've heard some shocking testimony from witnesses. We've seen some disturbing evidence presented by the prosecution. Remember, Sarah Boone is accused of killing her boyfriend, George Torres, by letting him stay locked in a suitcase after leaving him to die. Boone claims it was all just a joke, like a game of hide and seek gone wrong, and that she didn't intend to harm Torres. But the prosecution is definitely painting a different picture. They suggest that Boone's actions were more intentional and obviously way more malicious. But who is Sarah Boone really? Throughout this trial, we've seen 3 distinct sides of her. There's the Sarah Boone that's in the 911 call, the body cam footage, and the police interrogation. This version shows her initial reactions after George Torres' death. It's captured during the police investigation. It's suggested this might be the most genuine version of her account. This is where she talks about falling asleep after drinking and forgetting that George was even in the suitcase. This is where she trips herself up the most also. But there's also Sarah Boone's antics and her sideshows, behaviors that probably weren't as popular, seen outside of the maybe formal proceedings or the hearings leading up to it, like her courtroom antics, asking for snacks and requesting shoes and makeup and dealing with multiple attorneys. There were 9 in total up to this point. The jury hasn't been exposed to these actions. So then now we come to the Sarah Boone that's in court, and this version is what the jury sees daily. She's described as demure, she's more composed, she's presenting herself as a victim of domestic violence, she's recounting her trauma, she's providing explanations for what happened during the incident, she's taking notes and all kinds of stuff. So let's talk about what happened on day 3. On day 3, the state rested its case. The big news of the day was that Sarah Boone herself took the stand to testify in her own defense.
I even put it in the bedroom and had a movie set up for us to watch, so it would just kind of be dinner in bed. And then he came upstairs and saw that I had made the steak dinner, and I don't know how to describe how drunk he was, but it definitely was not George. And had him come lay on the bed, sit on the bed, and put the I got the dogs out, and I presented him with the steak dinner, and sat down and was getting ready to start playing the movie, and he starts being very rude and cursing the steak and finding fault with it, and then I'm having to encourage him to eat. If you want me to cut it up for you, I will cut it up for you. Did you want some more sour cream for your potato? What can I do to make you happier? And then he started to pull on me and kept saying that, that I just want to fuck you on the steak and fuck you on the potatoes. And I took offense to that, and I kept trying to encourage him to eat. I started to eat.
Is this just him really drunk and saying nonsense?
I don't know why he was so angry that day. I don't know if it's because I got steak. I don't know. Most of the time I don't know the reason why. I couldn't take it anymore. Obviously I was not going to be able to eat, so I started to crawl off of the bed to leave, just the bedroom. And he told me again that I'm not going anywhere, and he stabbed me in my leg, and it crunched. You could hear a noise that it made, and blood just started to come out of my leg, just like a fountain. So I got off of the bed. He's starting to freak out, and grabbed me a towel. I got a wet towel, and I'm sitting here holding the towel, and it's increasingly becoming even more and more saturated by the minute. It's just minutes. So I'm going through towels and towels, and I said, George, I think I need to go to the hospital. This is not stopping to bleed. This is serious. And he got on his knees and begged me, please don't call the police. Please don't call the police. Please don't the police.
She shared her side of the story, claiming that she acted out of fear for her life. She described a history of domestic abuse in her relationship with Torres, saying he was often very violent and very aggressive towards her.
How did you stay with him? You got to tell the truth.
As anyone who has ever been in love, or when you love someone, or primarily someone or something, you go above and beyond, and you tolerate and you endure and you persevere, and you try to make that person as spectacular as you possibly can, no matter the sacrifice that you may have to go through to serve someone else in a positive light, so they can be better people for themselves, and to just make them a happier person. And love is very strong, and love is very deep, and love, I believe, is not fully understood in a lot of ways for how different people react to it. And I very much, deeply, and passionately love George. I love him to this day.
She claims Torres willingly got into the suitcase as part of a game, and that she didn't realize he was in distress until it was way too late. She admits to recording the video of Torres struggling inside the suitcase, but maintains that part was still a joke. That's until she claimed the battered spouse syndrome defense. She may have even confused the rules of hide and seek with the rules of tag, as you'll see in this interaction with the prosecutor.
So it ends in hide and seek after arts and puzzles, correct?
Yeah.
He says, tag, you're it, but you run and go upstairs and hide, right?
Yes.
So does that mean he's it and he's supposed to come find you?
No.
Okay. So you both hide?
No.
Okay. How does this work?
I don't know how to tell you.
Okay.
I was it, and I went and hid.
Picture yourself sitting around the state attorney's office, and you're kind of kicking around theories and ideas, and somebody pops up and says, wait a minute, is she describing hide and hide? I mean, is that how the game is played?
I mean, my understanding of the rules of hide and seek is one person will be it, cover his or her eyes and count to like 20, and then go find the person that's hiding. Is that your familiarity with the rules too, or do you guys have house rules?
I understand how the hide and seek works.
So explain to me, what was your expectation? You go up to the shower, were you expecting him to come find you?
I was.
Okay. And after a while, he did not come find you.
Yes.
And that's when you return downstairs.
Correct.
And because of the way your townhouse is set up, you can kind of see over where the suitcase is, and that he's trying to hide in there, but it's not successfully hidden just yet.
I mean, yes, you have to come down a good ways in order to be able to
Right.
do that.
But you saw him, you testified those before you got to the bottom.
Yes.
All right.
They questioned her memory of the night, suggesting the judgment was impaired by alcohol, which is actually feasible. The prosecution also brought in the suitcase itself.
Ms. Boone, can you demonstrate for the jury where Mr. Torres' head was and how his body was positioned in the suitcase, if you don't mind?
His back was this way and his head was here.
All right, and then is it fair to say his feet are kind of down here, which would be the front left corner from their perspective in the jury box?
Yes.
And then his knees are kind of tucked up towards his face.
If I remember correctly, yes, that's the position.
Okay. All right.
This demonstration, however, didn't go how she wanted it to go, I'm sure. It seemed to contradict her earlier claims. She even admitted openly in the courtroom, wow, it's a lot harder than I remember. Imagine being trapped inside and running out of oxygen.
Can we see how it was that the two zipper parts were positioned when you say that Mr. Torres was able to get his hand out? If you want me to do it, I'm fine to take your direction.
From what I remember, this is how the suitcase was. This was up here. This was not this hard either. This was like here.
Okay.
Right here.
All right there now?
Sure. That's how he was coming with his hand out. It was like this from the corner part.
Okay. Thank you. You can return to your seat.
Despite the prosecution's attempts to poke holes in Boone's story, the defense is pushing forward with their self-defense argument, and they're hoping to convince the jury that Boone was a victim of domestic abuse and that she acted out of fear for her safety.
Tell the jury why you lied to the police.
I lied to the police. Basically everyone, because I was extremely fearful of being arrested. I made the first attempt of me calling 911 by telling them what happened, and I thought they were going to help me, but instead I was arrested for calling 911.
You heard that correctly. She said that she was arrested for calling 911.
So you made the decision to lie.
I did.
Did you stay with that lie?
I did.
Are you telling the truth today?
I am.
Day 3 of the Sarah Boone trial was full of twists and turns. It didn't disappoint. Sarah Boone's testimony taking the center stage of the whole trial. It remains to be seen whether the jury is going to believe her story or the prosecution's version of events, or even Sarah's version of the events. The trial is expected to continue with expert witnesses and closing arguments very soon, so stay tuned for more updates. Do me a favor, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more coverage of the Sarah Boone trial and all the other cases that we bring to light. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you think of the case so far. On behalf of actual 911 dispatcher John, I am Drew Breezy, and thank you for supporting the Comm Center. You can find us on YouTube and subscribe. We're also on all major podcast platforms, and our website is thecommcenter.com.